Welcome, folks, to City of Mist, and this is called When the World Breaks. I think we're on episode. It'd be good if I knew what episode we were on. Actually, is this 4?
I think it's 4.
Yeah. So we're going to talk. We're going to kick off by talking about crew theme, as we didn't really start off with one, and the guys have kind of been evolving or early stages as a crew. So Jeff, if you have got that, we could just pop that up and we'll talk about that. Excellent. So because really you guys have really come together a little bit informally, not maybe a past history and things like that. It looked like the gang really fitted well.
Mm-hmm.
And the mystery stroke identity is we've got your back, which is kind of what you're already doing just naturally. You're all doing your thing, but supporting each other. So there's your power tags there. True friendship, lend a hand. And in terms of for like clues or mysteries or investigation, things come our way is a good one. And I think that particularly maybe comes from Raj's personality, especially because of this whole what is it you call that again? Synchronicity.
Oh yes.
Thing that he's got going on in his life. And like the last time he was walking around the square at the college and he just is tossing a coin about and bumps into things, and so there's an element of that there. And you've got run into danger. So is that a possible other tag?
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe if it comes up later on, or if we hit one of the improvements, we could add that one to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mainly came up with that one based off of our last game.
Sure.
Where we were down at the docks, and it was kind of like we were faced with that choice of what do? Do we run away or do we run in? And I was like, let's go. So,
We went to go check it out.
Yeah.
So how does that sound?
And now, so I didn't read up on the rules fully, so Ken, if you correct me. But the way I understand it is basically these are like shared tags that we can all use, but with the one condition that, like during one scene, I guess, you can only use that. Like if Raj used True Friendship, then the rest of us can't use that for that scene.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Can I ask why is run into danger in a different color?
Yeah, I just did that to, like, we don't have it yet, but maybe improve, we can add that one.
Yeah, it's kind of like a level up one if you make your way kind of through adding XP onto it. So like your own themes, it's got the attention thing. So if we take 3 attentions over a period of say 2 or 3 sessions, then you could add one. And I think trouble magnets is quite good because I mean, there's an element maybe for Vinzer, where he's got some kind of underworld connections as well, and possibly even Sam, who just gets all sorts coming into his bar. So that's that. Basically, you can tag that. You can tag that if you want to get an XP. And or I can tag it if I feel like I want to get you into bother. So that works. How's that
That's
sound?
anytime we make a roll that we can just try and tag that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can tag it out of, like the weakness, you can tag for XP, or the other ones you want to tag. If maybe you're struggling, maybe you've not got a particular, tag in your own character sheet. To say, this will really work. So you could, and I think I keep comparing this with Tales from the Loop because we've played it recently, but in one sense, like the true friendship and lend a hand works like the friendship thing, the kind of relationship thing in Tales from the Loop. The other thing that happens in City of Mist is that if you help each other, you can get a help point for doing that, you know, or if there's a kind of strain between the characters, then you can get a hurt point. So you can actually use a help point to help another character during the game if that crops up. But also, if there's a hurt point, you could bring the hurt point in almost like a weakness, but you use it, or you use it if you want to, you know, fight each other. So you could always do that if you feel like it, you know.
I think mechanically, the way I understand it, it's kind of like if none of us were very particularly good at, say, investigating.
Yeah.
You can kind of fall back on the crew themes as a way to give yourself a little bit of a boost on the dice roll.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair enough. It's good. So yeah, if you need reminded of it, Jeff, you kind of got it on your desktop anyway. So
yep.
So yes, let's think about where we left off last time. It was the evening of the night before, and really, actually, there was a ton of things happened in that one day, I think. So you went to find out what was going on. You had a message appear on your TV screen. You had, that was, you know, all of those sessions were all in one day, which was a pretty full on day. So Jeff was, or rather Sam, maybe you can stick your name up so I don't, remember. Sam was reminiscing at some point about Frank, who used to be a boxer, who used to come in that same day, or night rather. His wife shows up, and because he'd been missing for a long time, presumed dead, and he's gone missing. Then you had gangsters show up and give you a hard time. Then later on, there was this strange message from Override on a TV screen. Then there was a news flash. I'm not sure if I'm getting the order right, but all of this stuff happened. And you went to the College Square, where some people seem to have been attacked and or bitten. Ambulances were there. Vinzer went up to the rooftop, did his thing, checked it out, noticed all the movements, noticed a strange guy with a big car and a long coat kind of disappeared. Raj walked about, spoke to some girls, found out something about a drug. And then you also spoke to that investigator guy, didn't you, Raj?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
His name was...
His name is disappeared.
Lawrence Keaton.
That's right.
His name was Lawrence Keaton.
That's the wrong thing. Yes, his name was... oh no, that's the wrong one again.
I think he actually gave you his card. Is that right? Did I remember that right?
His name was not Rex, German Shepherd dog. That much I am certain of. That's the wrong sheet.
Yes, I just found it in my notes too. Mine's Keaton, Chief Investigator.
My notes have just completely disappeared. I'll have to start some new notes too.
He gave you his card with his name and phone number, and then there was a little caveat.
Well, I assumed that he was something to do with the university, but on closer examination, his card just said investigator or investigating officer, I think. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And didn't actually say anything about the university at all.
But there was a number on it, so really it was very minimal information. But he was part of, you know, the police activity that was going on roundabout. He left chatting to... He actually approached Raj because he was wondering what Raj was up to, and then he just had a reasonable conversation. He went away. He seemed to meet a young athletic girl. They had a conversation. And you guys... Well, also, Sam spoke to the police as well. Got some bits and pieces. And you left. Went back to the bar. And then there was gunshots and some commotion down at the docks. And you encountered a strange creature ripping some guys apart, and a lot of panic amongst the mobsters and shooting and people running away and etc. And then of course significantly, the crane dropped. In fact, Raj did something quite spectacular with the lights, where it was almost daylight. It was daylight on the dock with the power of the lights. Dazzled the crane operator. He dropped his container, and a whole bunch of people fled from it. Obviously being transported into the dock or the country or whatever. And a couple of them turned up at the bar at the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
A mother and child, Eastern European lady. And so I just kind of presumed on that, Sam.
Oh, there was also that bit with the guy in my passenger.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
who had the brochure for that sale.
That's right.
And had a strange moment with a
mm-hmm.
a statue that was in the book.
Yeah, and
I don't know why I've got my D10s out.
maybe they're lucky. His name was.
I don't remember getting them out. That's the eerie thing.
What are you saying, Chris?
All the commotion going on at the dock and everything, the creature or whatever it was that was ripping them out appears to have some sort of connection to the way that Vinzer can travel using the shadows and stuff.
So this is my wee,
Vinzer, but
that's my wee gift to you for the time being.
That's actually the name of one of my weaknesses.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What lurks in the shadows.
Okay, so maybe that was what was in my back of my mind. If you want to rename that, that's fine. I can rename that and call that something else.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, and that obviously made you cautious of that whole going in that zone, the dark zone, or into the shadows. Also, while we're talking about these things, Raj has gained 3 points for investigations. This was earlier on when we were looking at the mobsters. He was checking it out on the street. And Jeff / Sam got a +1 crew theme bonus. So I think you've basically got a point of juice or a point to spend on the crew theme to use it. I think that's everything.
Basically, just give us all 1 extra die if we need it.
So it'll be a +1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would just be a +1 like your tags. So we will say that so Raj had the guy in the taxi, gave you an invite to the auction with an offer of buying him a drink. But I want to start with something maybe a little bit different. So we're not on the next morning yet. We're still in the long night, and I want to just say that after Sam at the bar let the women in, what did you know? I kind of presumed that you were going to just kind of let them stay the night or whatever. Is that a reasonable assumption, or did you want to do something else?
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think. I probably would have like the back room set up for them. I mean, nothing fancy at all, really. Like just a couch. But, sometimes I take afternoon naps or something there. So basically, just a place for them to crash, sleep the night. I'm not concerned that they would probably like try to rob me. Hopefully not. But yeah, I'll just set them up and for a place to sleep and let them know that if they're here in the morning, I'll cook them breakfast, and if they take off before that, then that's fine too.
Yeah. So we'll say that you get to sleep after a little while. It's been a crazy night. What about you, Vinzer? How are you? As you head home, without using your powers that night, or in fact, I think did Raj drop you? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we discussed at the end of the last
Yeah.
episode. I know it was like 2 weeks ago. But
You gave him a few dollars. That's what it was, to help, because you knew he didn't have any work on that night.
yeah,
You spoke to Old Bones, who you'd asked about this
for
street,
the spiral test.
Yeah, and so I think he knew the name of it, but didn't really know much else apart from it was a real high end, kind of expensive.
And there wasn't a whole lot to be like. It was kind of rare right now. So
yeah, it wasn't like a massive street drug at the moment or anything like that. So that I think that was all he could tell you. Yeah, you anything you want to do as you close off your night that night?
I think just because Vinzer's a bit rattled. Like he doesn't like when he finally does get home, he doesn't end up going through the like the fire escape entrance to Camilla's room or anything like that. Like he like trudges his way through the hallway, takes the elevator up, and it's just like this kind of like somber sort of thing. Like he's just kind of like racking over the possibilities in his head, and a little more shifty-eyed and worried about like the poorly lit hallways and stuff like that. And he does like go up the full like down the hallway all the way to the front door of her apartment. And when he like knocks and gets let in and everything, he's got this moment of like, you can tell, like looking at him, that while he's giving like Camilla a hug and like patting Benito on the head, or her son, that it's like one of those things where he's saying hello to them again for the first time in a way, but also like just like the fear of losing them. So like if this thing is involved in his life now, like is he gonna have to distance himself from them in order to keep them safe? Like he's just not entirely sure of anything at this moment, so he's gonna try and sleep on it.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and potentially, that, with the tags and things, yes, but it could affect. Maybe this is the first time that Vinzer has said to himself, you're hugging Camilla, you're rubbing what's his name?
Benito.
Benny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're thinking maybe I should just, maybe a normal life's better. If there's stuff like that out there, and there's this maybe little kind of slight turmoil of, if I keep going down the road with these guys, where is this going to take me, and is it going to endanger my family?
Yeah, I think like inversely too, like he's never had like for a long time, he hasn't had the fear of anything going on with the shadows. Like it's been like to his whim. He's almost felt impervious at this point because he's got like nothing to worry about. He slips in and out of trouble. He's got no problems. But now there's an unknown factor to this that honestly just kind of scares him about it. So.
And it's been a bit of a stormy evening, but that's kind of beginning to die down, and maybe it's a bit cooler than usual. And maybe as you put your head on the pillow, the curtains are just moving slightly with the breeze, and you're looking out and thinking, what's to come? You feel safe because you're with your family, but could this thing follow you? Did it? You remember it going back into the shadow, and it went wherever it was it went to, but was it even aware of you? You don't know. It didn't make any obvious sign that it saw you, but you definitely saw it.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit difficult getting to sleep, but you do. And so, Sam, want to go to Sam just now, and you get to sleep after all the. I don't know what time is it. I mean, it must be about 2 o'clock in the morning by now, because after the late night and then the woman and the child, and then you maybe give them something to eat and all of that. So it's maybe the back of 2 in the morning, and you're like, well, it's not uncommon, but you're probably weary enough to crash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So darkness comes over you, and you dream. You are running. You're running fast. You can smell a really strong smell of the damp ground in your nostrils, and the smell of wet grass, old leaves on a forest floor. You gasp for breath, energy to move forward, to escape, to get away. The wolves have your scent. They're chasing you down. Kill that fox. 3 or more are behind you. No, actually, now they're surrounding you. Snarling, teeth large and dripping with saliva mixed with blood. What do you do, Fox? The wolves are around.
Just hunker down and hope I can see a little break in the surrounding that I could shoot.
Why don't you face danger?
Okay.
And give me a roll and tag anything that you can. And in the dream, you're not your current form, you're an animal, but you do have things to do with movement and such like, so feel free to adapt that in the dream.
Okay. This is mostly for my own benefit. So face danger kind of equates to a dodge. When you use your abilities to avoid an incoming hit, or you endure harm, resist a malign influence, or hold it together. That could be it too. Name status. Tag, roll plus power. Okay, so let me see.
So if you look at your skill stroke mythos, see what you would imagine in the dream form, what you would do.
Accuracy, I don't think would apply. I'm not attacking. Camouflage, maybe if I can, but if I'm surrounded, probably not. Reveal weak spot. Agility, maybe if they are about to attack me, I could dodge out of that one. So that probably fits the best. I guess baseball bat wouldn't apply since I'm in fox form.
Yeah.
Or I could try and banter and chat him up, but no.
I don't think that's good.
I'll just go with agility then.
Right, okay. And go ahead and roll.
Ready to jump or... Oh, wow. That's the way to start the game off. 6, 12.
Wow. So there are 3 wolves in the undergrowth and in the bushes, and one particularly large one seems to be in command, and the 2 of the wolves launch out either side of that one to you, and you describe how you escape and evade the attack. You've got two beasts with big maws ready to bite down on you.
I've seen a few YouTube videos of foxes, and I know that they're kind of just like big puffy cats almost. So they're very quick. They can almost leap. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that I'm just like high wound at the point, and at that moment where they go to attack, and as soon as they move, I'm able to like almost leap over top of them maybe.
Yeah.
Spring out of their attack.
We'll say that you do that and you literally leap right over, and the 2 wolves clash against each other. Their 2 jaws. You can actually hear the teeth clashing, and you spring so far, you leap over that king wolf, the big wolf, you leap over behind it and you are off. And wolves, I don't know, foxes, don't know if you've heard it. They have a really shrill kind of squeal, kind of barking sound they make. So maybe you should do that just in fear, you know, you squeal out and you go and you're like, you know this area, and it's like, you know, the runs that you go and you're down roots and through shrubs and under roots and, you know, over bushes and things like that. Everything kind of goes dark, you know, it just, the dream, maybe you hear a noise, maybe that child is crying through the room and you awaken and you're feeling groggy, your eyes close again. Sunbeams break through the tall trees, lighting up the young leaves, luminous and green. You sit tall in the woods and you urge the horse on. Go on, lad. You hear a voice next to you, a friend, a whisper. There it is. And you look ahead, almost a clearing, but not quite. But you look through the bushes ahead and you see an old, ugly boar twitching in the clearing, as if aware that there's another presence here. And then, like some preternatural sense, it looks up and it looks right into your eyes, and you have an evil stare. This thing is like one of the old beasts of the forest, and it looks at you evilly, and then suddenly you loose an arrow and it whistles through the wind, but the thing's turned and gone, and leaves and dirt churned up as it disappears into the forest. An explosion of movement as you and your men on your horses pursue it. You're fast, but you cannot stop your face being whipped by the branches and leaves blurring around you as you press on. And that blur of the bushes and the trees going by, the branches hitting you in the face, and things get a little bit blurry and they get very, very quiet, and gets colder. And the voices of the riders are gone, and there's a movement in the dark. And you look ahead and you can see in the darkness yellow eyes, and you can see the grey fur, brown fur of large wolves in the undergrowth amongst the ferns. What do you want to do, Ryder?
I'm still on the horse.
Yeah.
Pull the horse to a stop, and then ready my bow in case they attack.
As you begin to do that, you hear a deep, throaty growl from ahead, and you see another set of eyes. You see two sets of eyes. You see one big one, one smaller one, and it's growling, and it's moving forward, real slunk down, you know, looking like it's about to pounce.
Yeah, I'm not going to hesitate then. I'm going to have to shoot.
Go ahead. What do you want to tag with your bow?
Definitely accuracy. That's it. Ooh, 5 plus the 1 accuracy is going to bring me to a 6. It's a fail, I think.
Yeah. So how do you see the arrows? What happens when that thing, its shoulder blades are sticking away up and it's pulling forward, and as soon as you loose the arrows, it jumps and the arrows thud into the ground where it was, and it's leaping towards you. You're going to need to face danger right now, as it's huge. This wolf is huge.
Okay.
Like half the size of your horse.
Wow. Dire wolf. It's danger.
Can you maneuver the horse in some way? Can you?
I feel like I don't have time to even react for agility, so I'm just going to roll, I think. Put it in the fate of the dice.
To be fair, agility could be you acting quicker.
Okay, +1. Talk to me into it. There we go. 7 rolls, so 8 with the tag, the agility tag.
Okay, describe how you evade it.
I kind of am picturing it might be leaping at me, towards me,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of use the horse as a barrier, so I sort of just swing my leg up and over the saddle and go to the other side of the horse, and then just sort of like crouch down, still somewhat in the saddle, like 1 foot still in the stirrup, I guess, and 1 foot down on the ground, hoping that it'll either leap over me or it'll go under me. I'm not sure which.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's aiming. Not sure, to be honest, if it's aiming for you or the horse, but its claw strikes against the horse's kind of chest or shoulder, and you see a gash, some blood spray. The horse rears up, and while it does that, the front hoofs hit the wolf, stuns it for a moment, and you gallop off. It goes dark. You hear a noise outside of the bar, like a dog barking, and sounds like trash cans have fallen over or something like that, and a dog's going off in one. Occasionally some of the stray dogs and that come down this way because there's not a lot of residential. So you roll over and think this is some night, you know. You roll over and go back to sleep, and there's movement above you in the forest, a rustling like air going through the trees, the leaves and the branches. And you look, and it's daylight through above the trees. The darkness is gone from that last dream. And you hear as if the wind is moving through the trees, but it's going from tree to tree to tree, like something is moving through the tops of the trees. But not a danger, perhaps. You can reach up if you stand on the horse's back, and you do that, you get up and you balance yourself because you're skilled that way, and you stand on the saddle of the horse and you look up to the bottom of the branches of the trees, and you hear and feel that movement. Some folk are traveling through the branches. You can't see them, but you feel their presence, and you sense this kind of affinity with these people to the woods. A bright morning sky and a grassy outcrops in front of you, rising out of the edge of the woods above a lake shining like a mirror. The man stands next to you, bent over with age. He's leaning on a staff, and he's got a robe that like a cowl over his head, and it's reaching to the ground. And an old voice crackles with age and knowledge, and he just says, "Go down and see." But there's a lightness, a cheekiness in his voice, but you know he's old. And below you is a lake. What do you want to do?
I'll follow his advice.
Okay, you go down the slope and you begin to slip and slide, but you can keep your footing. You're used to it. As you go down to the lakeside, there's reeds and some trees and some bushes around, and the sunlight is making this lake like a mirror with little ripples going across it. And out of the middle of the lake, a lady rises out of the water, graciously, powerfully, and she walks towards you across the water. And she says these words: "Welcome, fox. Welcome, rider. Welcome, lord of the forest. Welcome, protector of the people." And she's shining in the rising sun, or is the sunshine coming from her? You're not sure. She's holding something out to you in her hand, and you're waking up as the sunlight is coming in your window, and the curtains weren't really drawn, and you're waking up as you lie there, sun streaming in the window in your apartment. And as you waken, Sam, what do you normally do with your ring? Do you put it at the side table at night? Do you wear it? What do you do with that?
I think I probably am always wearing it. and morning habit would be as soon as I wake up, I just go into a stretch, which is also me checking to make sure the ring's still on.
So, do you know that place when you're halfway between sleep and awake, and sometimes thoughts and ideas come? You think your ring is singing. There's a sound or a pitch, almost like a tuning fork, but it's a little bit more melodious than that. And you think just for like 3 or 4 moments, and it's gone. And when you're waking up, you kind of sit up a little bit and you look around, and there's leaves on your beds, old brown leaves, some fresh green leaves, and they're on the floor of your room. And then you just feel very human again.
Wow.
So it's morning.
Time to make the donuts.
What do you guys want to do this morning?
Well, I think I'd like to go to that auction this evening. Is it an auction or is it just a viewing for it?
It's an auction.
It is an auction. Yeah, I think I'd like to go to that.
Well, actually, we could make it a viewing if you want. If you want to do other things, we could bump it a night. I'm quite flexible that way.
Well, I'm going to go along and see what's happening.
Yeah. Well, we could say that.
I'd like to just. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to have enough money to bid on anything that's there, but I would like to know what that statue is, and more than that, I know it sounds silly, but I'd quite like to meet it, to actually see it in the flesh, as it were, because it made me feel very strange just seeing a picture of it. So I'd like to see how I react to actually meeting the thing itself.
Jeff, if you don't mind sticking A1 up for me, the picture of the leaflet there. So we'll say that there's a note on the back of the leaflet saying viewing from, let's say 3-4 p.m., something like that in the afternoon. So you can go in and have a look.
Well, that would be good. I could do that before I go to work. I mean, I'll get dressed up. I'll wear some decent clothes for it.
And of course, that chap offered to. Well, you assume the offer's genuine, but offered to get you a drink or whatever. So he was Charles, his name was. He was a kind of sales. In fact, his card said valuations and special commissions. So that's his job, to buy and sell on behalf of other people and take a little percentage. Yeah, so you could do that later.
Yes, yeah, I think I'll head by there about 5 o'clock, I think.
Cool. Thanks for that, Jeff. So let me just throw some stuff at you. You can get together and chat, of course, about where you want to go from here, because a lot happened yesterday. So much so it took 3 sessions for it all to happen. So there was a riot at College Square, as you remember. Frank's wife came, said he'd gone missing. You've not heard back from her yet. There's a new drug on the street. You bumped into a police guy. You had some news items or newspaper items about different things to do with a giant rabbit, I remember. And
Biscuit.
And a student, that's right, a student was attacked on previously in his kind of dorm or accommodation as well. So there's all sorts of things milling about. You've now got an invitation to an auction. Vinzer, what about yourself? What are you doing this morning when you get up?
I see like Vinzer trying to after a night's sleep, he tries to make the team feel a little bit more at ease about him, because the last thing that he was really doing before the night was over was kind of freaking out. So I think he wants to try and play it off like it's not a big deal. And so like he probably like tries to call up Raj to get a ride over to Sam's bar. And along the way, he stops by someplace like a breakfast shack and grabs like some, like some breakfast sandwiches or bagels or something like that, and just brings that in. He like kind of lets himself into Sam's bar, and he was like, all right, so I really think we need to talk about everything that happened last night, except for the part about the shadow monsters. But besides that, we're going to move on and figure out what the next plan of action is, because Sam, there's some shit going down around your bar, and we need to make sure that this is a safe place for. And look, we got more mouths to feed. We have more mouths to feed. I didn't bring enough bagels for everybody.
Talking of, on you go, Sam.
That's all right. That's all right. I got food for them. They're taken care of.
All right, good. I mean, there's only so much cream cheese that they give you.
So Raj, you picked him up, yeah, and brought him over.
Yep.
So as you guys, as Raj parks up just outside, because the bar's not officially open at this time in the morning. We'll say it's 10 a.m. Okay, something like that. And as Vinzer and Raj approach, Vinzer, you think you spot somebody round the side of the building in the alleyway. And then you see a head ducking in behind the dumpster.
Behind the dumpster?
Yeah.
So after he's come in and said all that stuff, he just kind of leans over to Sam. He's like, Sam, I think he got rats in the dumpster. And I'm talking about like big rats.
How big? Like pizza rat?
Like, not like Pizza Rat, no. That's a celebrity. I'm talking about
like a sewer rat.
Closer, Raj, but more like a person-sized rat.
Oh.
Like what? Like the rat boy who was in the National Enquirer?
Yes. Could be. I'm not sure. Sammy should probably check it out.
Such a fascinating country. Such a diverse range of people and animals. Amazing.
Yeah, I will check it out. I'm not overly concerned because sometimes I have some homeless people show up to the back door looking for handouts and such. So I'm kind of in the back of my mind. That's what I'm thinking. It's probably somebody lurking about looking for a handout, maybe.
So did you go out the back door or the side door, whatever, into yeah?
Yep.
I'm following him because I'm not just letting him just,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I know what I saw. So
As you open the door, you just see the small body of maybe a 12-year-old or 13-year-old kind of jump behind the other side, going if Vinzer came from the front and somebody went round the dumpster, they're now running away because they were shocked that a door suddenly opened, you maybe 13-year-old, something like that. Looks a bit dishevelled, to say the least. Some clothes are dirty and stuff, and just round the corner.
Oh, he actually ran off?
He just jumped round the other side of the dumpster because you frightened him.
I'll just kind of yell out to him, it's all right, it's all right. You hungry? You want some food?
You see a little head pop up, dark hair, it's all dishevelled, and the wee eyes are looking at you like he recognised the word hungry. But he's staying back the other side of the dumpster.
Which, by the way, can I ask you a question about the two that I brought in overnight?
Yeah.
Was there any sort of language barrier? Did they speak English?
They can speak broken English, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I mean, I haven't seen much of this kid yet. Is there any way to tell how he's dressed? Does he appear to be one of these refugees, maybe?
Yeah, you reckon? You reckon? Just then a sparrow lands on the dumpster and starts whistling. But anyway, yes, yeah, he's looks like he's a refugee. Similar kind of skin tone, dark hair, dark eyes, and then another one sticks her head out, and there's one a little bit taller, a little bit older. So he's maybe about 15.
Oh,
And he's going, food. Food. You have food.
yep. And I'll just wave him over to the back door, and I'll just say, "Wait here." And then I'll go in and I'll try to scrape together some.
You can see they're just very nervous about being around adults, but when you maybe get some stuff together, or maybe you get one of the things that Vinzer brought, I don't know. They're standing there kind of expectantly when you open the door.
I'm not sure if I want to share my cream cheese with them though. There's a good amount of that.
Got the good stuff.
What's your weakness? Can I tag a weakness for this? See if you
Bagel lover.
Eczema. Oh, right. I was thinking about my weakness, not the game. Sorry.
My weaknesses?
No, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll just open the back door and just give them a plate of food that I just looked up real quick.
They get stuck in like, you know.
Did the woman and other child, did they stick around? Are they still here?
Yeah, you hear them moving about now upstairs, maybe beginning to get up. Probably they were just traumatized and exhausted with everything that they've been through.
Mm-hmm.
So they still look. You maybe see one of them go to the bathroom or something like that, and they look really just exhausted.
Vinzer, are you doing anything in particular? Or you just still keep an eye fresh?
Mostly, yeah. After figuring out it was just a kid, I'm pretty much back to just finishing up some breakfast for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's good, but now you've got, an adult woman. Her, was it son or daughter? I can't remember what I said last
I think you
time.
said daughter.
Yeah, and 2 boys hanging about.
Yeah.
So we'll say they're looking after themselves for the time being,
Okay.
and they're just kind of staying out of the way. And maybe if they pluck the courage up, or if you invite them in, they'll maybe sit at the corner table closest to the exit. Just very nervous. If they come indoors.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what I'm thinking, was that I would, being aware that the mother and child are already inside,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give them the plate of food to eat out in the alleyway.
Yeah. Cool.
What was that? Did you start to say something?
Where are all these people coming from? Is there some sort of economic downturn in the city, or is it just always like this? So there are just lots of homeless people in this city?
I guess the word is out, maybe, that I do tend to give handouts often from the back alleyway. Nothing official or anything like that, but it's just like they know they can get a meal.
It's a creditable thing.
The lady comes downstairs and she says to you, Sam, she looks quite nervous, but she's also just pretty tired looking. She said, can I help you do something? I clean?
I'll try to just relay to her that it's not necessary, although the bar probably could use cleaning, so I'll just do the, no, it's fine. You don't worry about it. You relax.
She's like, thank you. You can tell there's a look in her face. She's pretty drawn and probably not malnourished looking, but there's a look on her face, a real, gratitude, like you've saved her life or something.
I'll make an attempt. I'm not sure what the language barrier is, but I'll make an attempt to ask her, what's your story? I mean, how how did this come about? How did you get here? And
she says they took our passports and they said that we come here for they bring us to the country for a new start, and they took our passports and they were going to do something terrible.
Terrible what, to you, or?
We were down by the, just trying to think of a word, just pointing to the docks.
Mm-hmm.
We were down by the boat in the big green box. They took our passports and they say that we come here for a new life, and they lie. I heard the man talk about us. He call us experiments.
Experiment.
And then she kind of tears up a wee bit and starts getting a wee bit emotional. And then she kind of starts cleaning that.
Well, then I'm not pushing it at all. I'll say, well, you're safe now. Just, you're welcome to stay, hang out as much as you want.
She's kind of nodding and all that and cleaning extra hard, She basically does the bar for you.
I can't believe we're still 4 episodes in. Every episode I think, I'm going to grab a towel and a glass so that I can do the bartender. I've forgotten every single episode.
Okay, so you've kind of got the bar area to yourselves if you want to chat about where you want to go from here.
Question. You said with the language barrier, unless I missed it, did you say like what language it was? More so my question is, since Camilla is Spanish, do I recognize it as Spanish?
No, it's like Romanian or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just saying this out loud to the two of you, like, what a night. I mean, we went through a lot, we learned a lot, and yet, what do we do next? I mean, so there's so much happening. Did anybody else have trouble sleeping or dreaming or anything?
No, I slept fine.
I slept okay, but I mean, now that from what I just overheard that woman saying, it makes me wonder that I thought that I just lost control of things last night, and this stuff kind of happened. But now I'm thinking, well, it's almost like whatever it is that's working through me sort of is making things happen for a reason. I mean, I just thought that those people were sneaking into the country and all that happened, and it sort of screwed up their chances. And now it sounds like she was one of those people and they were here to be experimented on.
Somebody wants in on the game.
You agree, don't you?
What?
It'd be great if it just said, "I love you."
Hello. Hello. Oh, you're spoiling it now. Don't just start barking, that's ruining
it. I mean, that's a harsh word, experiment.
That's what she said.
What does that mean?
I think maybe, if she trusts you a little bit more, she might open up about it. Kind of tell you what she meant by that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds. I don't know. I thought that's the sort of thing they do. I didn't think that sort of thing goes on here. I mean, I know back home there's stories about people, you know, having organs taken and things, but I didn't think that sort of thing went on over here.
Of course, Raj, because America is a land of the free, and you know.
Yeah, this is a, you know, this is my chance to begin again in a golden land of opportunity and adventure.
I liked the way you said that.
A new life awaits you in the off-world colonies.
Need to know more.
You know, Vinzer, I thought of a question last night, and I forget if I asked you this already last week. I think I had asked you if you had ever seen anything else in the shadow world like that before, and I think you answered no. But then last night I was thinking, what have you ever? I don't know what you even call it when you do what you do and you go into that shadow world. Have you ever brought someone with you?
No.
Have you ever tried?
No, actually. Never really occurred to me, and I guess the nature of my work kind of has me doing everything by myself anyway. So, no, I've never tried that.
Okay. I'm not so sure I'm volunteering. It was just a thought. I mean, I was thinking if you got stuck somewhere or needed help, if there was any way that we could get to you, but because if that's there and you go there, I don't like that.
Sam, honestly, I'm not sure that I want any of you guys to go into that right now. Like, I'll see if I can mess with the idea of it, but I'm not too keen on the idea of bringing somebody into what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe last night would be the first, I'm guessing, would be the first time you saw Sam use his bow. Would that be right?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
And of course, you being a mythic person, you can, unlike, you know, the gangsters that were on the dock, you can actually see the bow manifest, and you can see the arrows flying when he does the thing, you know. So you realise there's something.
I think like Vinzer's always kind of thought that Sam, yeah, obviously had, you know, potential to do something. Obviously, he's involved in like the wacky stuff that we've been putting up with. So something, he must be capable of something. But actually seeing that manifest, he probably takes this opportunity, actually, since this conversation is coming up, to ask you to like show off a little bit with it. Like I think where the way that conversation goes, he tries to make it a little more lighthearted at the end of it, and he goes over to the bar and he sets up like 3 beer bottles, and he's like, all right, now you got to show me how to do that thing that you did last night, because that was crazy.
With beer bottles?
I mean, I don't know exactly how your thing works, but I thought maybe.
I don't think I know how it works exactly. I just know I can do it. You have a nickel or a dime?
I mean, who uses change? But I actually reach into my pocket and I actually have the receipt just like crumpled in with like the change from like the breakfast shop. And he's like, and he opens it up and he's like, I don't have a nickel. Do you have a couple pennies though?
That'll work.
Okay. Sort of just throw them in the air and.
Well, so go open the back door to the alley. Make sure that the kids aren't right nearby. And then flip the coin.
So yeah, so Vinzer would go over there, crack open the door. So it's pretty much just an open hallway straight to the back the back alley, right?
Right.
Yeah. And he just kind of shouts to the other people, like completely like ignoring the fact that there's a language barrier, and he's like, "Watch your niños, keep them to the back. All right, here we go." And he flips up the coin.
And then, trying to show off now, I'm going to try to ricochet an arrow off the ground and then hit the coin out of midair.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That happens. And the little kids are watching, and they can't see the bow or the arrow, so they think you're doing some kind of like magic trick, you know, where you're going like this and the thing, and you know, you knock it flying whatever way you want to.
Yep. Do you want me to roll or?
No, it's good. You can just tell us, you know, what happens, and that's what happens.
Yep. So I'm just gonna try to show off and, you know, just make it more difficult by trying to do a ricochet shot and have it knock the coin out of midair.
The young lads kind of jumping up and down, go, oh yeah. and the older boys, like, you know, just like, he doesn't even know what's going on, but he obviously thinks it's some kind of magic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm seeing this, I'm seeing it basically the same way as the.
You can see the mythic world, so you can see the bow and arrow.
Right, like I can see it the same way I saw it the night before, where it's like a spectral arrow.
Yeah.
And what color did you say it was?
I haven't landed on it. I'm wondering if I could change colors as needed. Wanted.
Prismatic, maybe. Just shifts.
Maybe it shifts with your mood or the reason for, you know. So if you're attacking an enemy and you're attacking with anger, maybe it starts to burn red.
Yeah, that's cool.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So what is it? What color is it? And like what does it do to the penny at this point? Does it just send it flying, or?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's like so I'll say, you know, I'm calm. I'm safe in the bar. So it's a nice cool blue color. And then it's basically like, you know, the bow appears, it's got the blue flames going up around it. And then I unleash the arrow, and the same thing, the arrow's got the blue misty flames coming off of it too. And it nails the penny hard enough to put a ding in it and maybe bend it. But it just like knocks it out of the air. And then I guess the arrow would just continue on, maybe deflected, and hits the brick wall in the back alley, like up higher up.
So sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't really think too much about. Like, I think after an amount of time, relatively quick, the arrow just fades away. So there's nothing residual from that. You know, it's.
Does it actually like penetrate stuff? Like.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think like Vinzer goes over and like picks up the penny. Do you think it hit it hard enough that it would like make the penny hot at this point, or?
Probably not. It would just bend it. Yeah.
So like, I'm just kind of awestruck. Like I go over and I pick up the penny and I'm like, that's crazy. All right, so when did you start doing this? How did you find out?
That's my grandfather. It's all a bit fuzzy because this is over years. When I was in like my early teens, gave me this ring. And I think that's where this power comes from, was the ring. I was out in the woods messing about, kids playing Cowboys and Indians, and you always. So I was basically just faking it, and suddenly it actually like happened and appeared. And
Sam, did you kill a kid?
it was a squirrel. I'm not proud of it.
Now, Sam, you're very athletic, right? And you can do all sorts of things like jumping over dumpsters and all that.
Yeah.
You've got an audience of 3. You've got Vinzer, a guy his age. You've got a kind of 15-year-old. You've got a 13-year-old. All you've got an audience right now. You want to do anything else while we're out here in the alley?
Oh, man. Yeah, let's do one more. Trying to think.
Maybe Vinzer, something else comes to mind. They've got the coasters, the little kind of cardboard coasters in the bar. You could throw them up, and see how it goes with them.
I actually think I might take the opportunity to work my power into it a little bit too. And maybe I'll have Sam. Do you have a dartboard in your bar?
Absolutely, yeah.
So maybe with a little bit of the shadow manipulation that I have, I grab I kind of move the dartboard from the section that's located, and I kind of bring it over, and I'm like sliding it across the wall a little bit, and it's kind of like hitting any other pictures and stuff like that, just kind of tinking it out of the way until it worms its way over. And then I bring it over next to the hallway that you were originally shooting from, to kind of give you a target. And then it's almost as if it lifts right off the wall, and it brings itself like floating in the air, like in the middle of the opening.
All right.
All right, go ahead. Bullseye. Let's go.
And then I'm also laughing because I'm picturing now, it's almost like maybe Vinzer is now competing for the attention of the kids, like trying to outdo.
Yeah, like, watch this.
You hear 2 gasps of, whoa, both kids now, their mouths are open, and they're like looking at each other like, should we be scared right now, or is this the most amazing thing we've just ever seen in our life?
I think since Vinzer sees that the kids are like getting into it, he starts getting like extra like over the top with like wizard like flailing around and everything.
That's the joy of a magician. The expression,
showmanship.
The expression on the kids' faces. Yeah, so they're like, and the older boys maybe slightly more uncertain, but the little guy's right into it. He's like, yeah,
So I'll just do some sort of maybe this time by now I'm out in the alleyway looking back into the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do some sort of like run and jump, and I'll say quietly under my breath, parkour. And then do like a little twist and a turn. And
so when you do that, Vinzer's going to try and use the shadows to move the dartboard out of the way.
Okay.
So that it doesn't look like it's going to hit. But I have a feeling that's no match for Sam.
Well, you realise you guys are now going toe-to-toe here with your powers. So you're going to need to... Well, we'll let you, seeing as you're initiating this challenge, Vinzer, we'll let you go toe-to-toe with Sam.
Okay. Let's see.
So you're vying for control of the board stroke, the audience's approval.
There it is. Okay.
Does this game have like crit fails? Am I going to hit somebody?
Now, what I'll do, because we're doing a contest here, what we'll do is we'll allow you, Sam, to use a couple of whatever tags you want as like a weakness or a difficulty. So any tags that you want to tag is a minus on Vinzer's roll, and any tags that Vinzer adds on is a plus.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So it's a battle of powers right now with a dartboard, shooting a dartboard.
I'm going to say I have accuracy, and then I'm going to do the weakness tag of looks crazy. So like I'm to the point now where I'm trying to show off, but the kids are like, he just looks like a madman at this point.
All right. Okay. So we'll say that's a -1 then, because that's two. One's a negative.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to max out and anything else. So that's only a -1 for you, Vinzer. What you want to tag?
The only thing I think I have here is just shadow manipulation,
Okay.
which is allowing, or excuse me, not shadow manipulation, shadow puppetry, which is allowing me to actually move objects using their shadows.
So with Sam's -1, then that's kind of cancels out that tag. So you're basically just on a dice roll.
Is it just me making the dice roll?
Yeah. Well, you initiated it, so we'll let you do the.
Okay.
They're basically having a battle of show-off powers right now, Raj.
Okay.
I only got a 7 though.
Some kind of ego while I was away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They've got
It's
an
for
audience.
the kids. It has nothing to do with my ego.
So on a 7 to 9, you get to choose one.
Oh.
You manage to achieve your goal. Example, take something they hold. Or you get them good, giving your opponent a status. Well, I don't think we need to. Or you block, dodge, or counter their best attempts. So I guess the first one, really. You achieve your goal.
What was your roll? I didn't hear your dice roll.
Oh, 7.
It was a 7, yeah.
Pass. Dang it. How about a weakness tag of embarrassed? I'm embarrassed I missed.
Oh, so that's all you got. I mean,
You could make it a bit comedy, you know. You don't want to show Sam up totally, you know. Cause,
yeah, I didn't want to do that. I think Vinzer fully expected Sam to be like so good that even him messing with the factors, like moving the board, would still result in Sam hitting the board.
Mm-hmm.
If on a 7, I'm not getting to really choose anything else. Like, I can't say like he ricochets it off the wall in the back and it comes back through.
You choose one, but the third one says you block, dodge, or counter. So basically, you can control the counter move. I would say, you know, or you give a status. So, but basically, you can control what happens with the board. Let's put it that way. So you can let him hit it if you want, but you maybe make it hard for him to hit. So maybe it goes.
Yeah. That's probably like most likely what he would do. Like since he's just kind of messing with him, he just jerks the board around, and like as soon as you let the arrow go, he takes the board and then he flips it this way. So it's like literally about to go like right past it, but then at the last second he twists it back in it.
While this is all happening, the young boy is going, Shadow Man, Shadow Man, Shadow. Another boy, because he doesn't know Sam's name or anything like that, he's going, Food Man, Food Man, Food Man.
Food Man.
So they're having a little competition themselves.
I'm going to start reading the paper.
This is of no concern to Raj.
You could always bend reality if you want, Raj.
I've got nothing to prove. I'm fine. Thanks.
You could do a trick with a newspaper if you want for the kids.
Like that, cut it up and make it into like a row of little men, and then make them come to life.
The only difference is you don't need scissors. Yeah, so like doing that, I think since the kids are like getting into it too, like Vinzer kind of goes all in, and he's just thinking about like about Benny. You know, like this is stuff that he would do with him at home. So like when he flips the board back around and actually it lands on a bullseye, he goes to the kids, he's like, "Oh, did you see that?" You know, like just kind of hyping them up a little bit more.
Okay, so I want you guys both to tick an attention on those powers, partly because Sam actually used his weakness as well, but the joy on you've just like those kids are in a bit of a state and you've just suddenly made their whole day right now. And so it just, like you're describing, Vinzer, it really does something, warms your heart, you know, the fact that here you were worried about your powers, you were worried about the danger it might produce, and you've now just seen it bring joy, you know, to young kids, similar age to maybe your son, you know.
Yeah. All right.
So that's a wee XP each for you for your carry on.
Cool.
We didn't factor that in the end of last session, did we? Like doing XP or anything like that?
If you tag a weakness anytime, you basically you can tick one of the little slots for attention.
I think you did tag a weakness, Chris.
Last session, I got a fade or a crack
Yes, that's what I
in
remember.
one of my power tags.
Right.
So that's what I was making sure, because I know I had to bail a few minutes early last time.
I guess, was that to do with the creature at the end because of what happened? Yeah, so that would be on your shadow power. Or no, it would be your shadow walking because you looked into the shadow.
Yep.
So do one on that.
I saw the X there, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you've cheered these kids up no end, and now they're like, they've got so excited they look like they're even hungrier than they were and maybe need a drink and things. So they're now, you know, relaxed and they're happy to take some juice or, you know, some Coke or Coca-Cola, that is, or food or anything like that off you.
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola, free drink of West.
Mm.
Yep, I will share.
Okay, so you see Raj sitting over there reading the paper, possibly imagining how much money he needs to make tonight to kind of make the week work.
Anything in the paper about what happened last night with the whole situation at the docks?
There's a whole big article about the square, the college square thing, and it says that 5 people were injured, we'll say. One of them seriously, and that one had been bitten. The other ones had been, you know, attacked and clawed at, etc. It says there's an ongoing investigation, and the police are looking at all options, and there's all sorts of, you know, random possibilities that the journalist is putting out there, probably not with any real basis of whatever. They're just suggesting, oh, it could be gang warfare, it could be drugs, it could be this, it could be that, you know. There's a tiny little piece on the third page on the corner to say power explosion at the docks, and how there something happened on the docks that night, and there was some damage to equipment.
I won't draw anyone's attention to it, but I'll very subtly cut that bit out later on from the scrapbook. Because on the one hand, I'm a bit freaked out by it. On the other hand, it was quite epic. So I'm kind of proud of the fact that I did that. Especially now that I've learned about this business of like these people, or at least that woman thinks that these people might be getting experimented on. That kind of makes me feel a lot better about the whole situation now, to be honest.
Are you sharing any of the information with the auction art stuff?
I will actually, yes. Because I saw this and it's I don't know, it just made me feel something. And I think I've learned with the way all this stuff works, I've just learned that it's, you know, when I have these strange feelings, it's best to go with them because it tends to sort of draw me towards something. And I think this might be something that might explain what's happening to me, because I certainly don't understand it. So I thought, yeah, later this evening I might drive over there and put my suit on and go and have a look at this this sculpture, this statue. Because yeah, it looks, I don't know, there's just something about it. I honestly can't explain it. I can't put it into words. But I just feel that I might be connected to it in some way.
What do you think, Vinzer and Sam? Are you interested in checking this out with Raj or what? Is it of interest, or do you want to do something else? You know, thinking ahead to, you know, that evening. So if Raj is gonna go over to the auction, do you want to go with him, or what's your thoughts?
I guess I would put it out there to let Raj decide that if he wants somebody to go with him.
You're more than welcome to come with me if you'd like. Yes.
Yeah, I'll tag along too. I've also been one of the things that Vinzer wants to bring up too is what sorry, when they had the conversation about the passports, was Vinzer present when that happened?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to bring up the idea of if the passports had been kind of taken from these guys, these refugees, and whatnot. It seems like they were kind of smuggling them in and then extorting them for their passports. If that would be connected to this Vidalis guy that seems to be causing some trouble for Sam to begin with, than the new crew down by the docks.
Well, you know that you've realised that because of what you saw down at the docks, and because of obviously your visit from the mobsters, that obviously that mob, that family, now are running the docks. So it wouldn't be too difficult to imagine that they're controlling some of the stuff maybe that's coming in, you know. You could, if you want, do an investigate and, you know, check your contacts out and try and see if there's any information regarding the people coming in, you know, the trafficking really of people coming through. You could do that off your own back, you know, just put the word out there, try and, if you want to see if there's anything that way, you can pick up a lead.
Investigating that way, would it be fair to say that I'm able to use like my phone and stuff to
absolutely, yeah,
communicate through all them? So I would,
yep.
That's probably what Vinzer's main focus is. Like, he'd be tagging along with the group and everything like that, but I think in the meantime, because the art and everything like that for like the the exhibit, doesn't really call out to Vinzer, but he knows that this is obviously something that Raj seems very interested in. So he's kind of also doing work on like some of the other problems that we have while he's
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you
tagging along.
can use your cell phone. You can send a few messages out there to guys that that they know the lowdown. And yep, if you want to do that, feel free to do an investigate and see what happens. If you want to tag some stuff.
Do you want me to do that now?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Okay. I think mostly the only tag I've got for that is Underworld Connections.
Mm-hmm.
But the only other thing is the weakness I think that could be in there is making my share of enemies. Because I think if I'm reaching out to my Underworld Connections, some of my enemies who do have Underworld Connections could also see what I'm looking into.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might end up just negating itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, an alternative approach would be because you've established a relationship, you could always go and see Bones and get him to check it out for you. So, you're not the person that's asking the question. And I would like to get a plus. I'm not saying you should, but I'm just, imagining maybe in a situation in the future, if you want to do investigate and you want to kind of hide that, you might want to go through a mediator or somebody else, But yeah, go ahead. I think you're right. I think that's a good idea to tag that weakness, and then that makes it a basic role.
With an 8.
Cool. So rather than just reading out the move, we'll just say this because the information's probably limited. What is your question, and what is the kind of what's the buzz? What's the word on the street that you're getting out to your guys? What are you looking for?
I think I'm mostly focused on new crews and passports at this point. And see if there's any word on somebody dealing with like some newer established faces in the underworld for like moving and taking like passports and
yeah. So you probably you really kind of hear what you maybe suspect that this Vidalis family who they've been around for a while, but they seem to the whole shift recently in turf situation. They're recently taken over a lot of the docks and kind of moving into that territory more. Maybe there was a gap in the market. Maybe it wasn't, a full-on takeover, and eliminating another mob, but maybe there's a little gap in the market. So, that those families, the Eastern European ones, have a well-known track record of human trafficking. So it wouldn't be a surprise to see that they would be the ones that maybe, or on a genuine shipment of things coming in, that there maybe was a container with people in, and quite often the normal routine for things like that would be that they get somebody to pay them to bring them in. They maybe do keep their passports so they're in control. And then sometimes when they bring somebody in, they then have them beg on the streets to pay the rent for property that they also own. So effectively, they might bring them to the country, but there's kind of a sense of enslavement where they're still paying the master that they thought was just getting them into the country. So that would be the normal route. In terms of experiments and stuff like that, no, you don't really get anything back about that. Is that okay?
Yeah. I'll keep that information to bring up to the guys next time.
So basically it fits, it fits the kind of mob would be very plausible to be involved with that kind of stuff.
All right.
So shall we, unless you want to do anything, shall we just cut to later, because time's kind of going on a little bit, and we can go to the auction if you want to.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Yep.
Okay, so we cut from this scene, and you guys, Vinzer maybe is checking some stuff out. Maybe Raj goes and does a couple of hires before heading out. And did you want to go to the kind of bit before the auction then, Raj? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, the viewing when
Yep.
I've got a chance to actually go and to have a look at the things that are being sold rather than just where people are bidding on.
Okay, so we'll say that there is, as the brochure or the flyer had said, there's items from the Orient, there's items from Eastern Europe, which tend to be kind of large pieces of furniture, kind of large chairs. There's one of them actually on the flyer itself. There's big cabinets and really super ornate, and I'm trying to see if I've actually, I might have some suggestions of where that stuff's coming from. Let me see. So some of that stuff's from Moldova, other places in Eastern Europe. Big, some to be honest, some of them are really big and gothic and ugly looking,
Right.
And then you've got the Eastern stuff, the kind of traditional Chinese and Oriental things, plates, big urns and vases, etc. And then you've got a whole range of stuff from Mesopotamia, which is really, really ancient, artifacts. So you see that you can tell when you go, we'll say all three of you are just kind of milling about at this point, and you get your free drink, whatever you want, for being there.
I'm going to live a bit dangerously tonight and have cranberry juice.
Okay, so Raj goes mental and has some cranberry juice. You guys can have whatever you want.
It's good for your bladder.
Maybe Sam brings a bottle from the bar, I don't know. So Sam, when you're out for that kind of afternoon, evening, what do you do with the immigration issue at the bar? What do you do with your guests? And I guess you've got a staff member, excuse me, on duty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think that Diane is my second in command, so if I need to jump out of the bar for a bit, I can leave her in charge. Yeah. Are you picking up on that?
This all sounds eerily.
Was it that obvious? Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to toss her and the kid out, but at the same time, I'm like in that awkward position of I didn't necessarily want this to be a full-time living position, like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll drop the hint that you're welcome to stay, but and just leave it up to them.
Okay, we'll say that, when you have that kind of little conversation before you leave, then we'll say that by the time that you're kind of ready to go, do you get dressed up like Raj, or are you just kind of going in your usual stuff, your usual gear?
Dressed up-ish.
Right.
So maybe just a suit jacket on top of it.
Yeah, so smart casual, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time that you're heading out the door, you see that she's got an apron on and she's actually helping behind the bar to kind of prove that, it's worth her being there, kind of thing, and I think probably as well out of gratitude, really,
Okay.
So she's helping out, and the kids just in the background, they're not coming into the bar, she's kind of keeping them away. And maybe the kids are, because it's still afternoon when you head out, the kids are playing around about somewhere together. So yeah, that's cool. So you see the statues. There are two statues. I would say about 4 foot high. With the one that, like the one with the big eyes, there's two of them, and you see that gold. It's actually bronze. It looks like a mask, a bronze mask, and it's
That was the one with the sort of butterfly.
yes,
eyes.
it's kind of like the eyebrows become wings and kind of come out, and you when you approach they're kind of all, they're in cabinets because the Mesopotamian stuff is like really probably high end because it's so old. You know that you can see the kind of people that are milling about. There's a lot of money here. There's a lot of, you can tell, private collectors with a lot of money, and you get the impression that there's probably a couple of museums, here, or people that are maybe more in the public arena, maybe looking to see what's there. There's maybe somebody at the side. One of the news stations have somebody stationed, and they're standing in front of one of the cabinets, and they're giving it, we're down here for this top class auction, and we're going to televise some of it tonight. There's a lot of these items are going to go for a lot of money, and she's just giving a spiel about all of that stuff. When you see the cabinet, the big glass cabinet with there's two statues and a mask together as if they're of the same thing. You know that even from across the room kind of distance, you kind of almost sense a thumb, coming towards you. And you feel like your senses are really heightened just actually looking at it. Yeah. Not an actual thumb.
Oh.
Yeah. A kind of sensory thumb noise, like you can feel it going through you.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like a sound.
That's weird, because there was the same thing at the end of last night's game as well. that's getting really eerie now. It's all starting to merge.
You don't know what game you're playing.
Is it coming from a particular artifact?
It's coming from all of it, you think?
Well, can I try and find a program?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or a buyer's, whatever it's called, a listings guide or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And just initially, I'm just going to sort of get the program, and flipping through it to find the relevant section, I will walk over.
Yeah. To
the.
As you do that, you're looking at the program and you're beginning to pick up. It's from around about Babylon, Mesopotamia area. It's really, really ancient. I've not got a date for you, but it's right way back, and it's unusual for items like that. There's a bit of mystery surrounding the mask. They can't actually date it properly because it is bronze. It's like Bronze Age mask, but it seems older, even though it's it's like pre-Bronze Age, but it's bronze, so it must be Bronze Age, But it seems the statues are older than Bronze Age, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense why they're together, other than they were within the same find. But as you're walking towards the cabinet, you're looking at the kind of little prospectus or the little catalogue, and it's like you're seeing through it. It begins to fade out. You're seeing through it. You see your hands. You begin to see through your hands, and you're just seeing the things in the cabinet. And you go into a vision, and it's like everything is like red dust and sand, and it's blowing around about, like swirling round about. And you see ahead of you, there's a kind of stone, literally sandstone, kind of big round area, and you walk across that, there's sand swirling around about you, and in front of you, you see like 3 standing stones, and you hear the kind of the noise of voices and people gathering. And as these people come around near the standing stones, they're like dressed like the statues, like this kind of plain but unusual robe, and you see the kind of braided hair and all the rest of it. And as they're looking towards you, you hear a voice speaking, but you don't know what it's saying. It's like coming from where you are, but you're not actually moving your mouth. And you see their eyes opening and widening and widening and widening, and it's as if their eyes are getting wider as truth and insight and revelation is pouring into them, like almost like being downloaded into them, you know. And the sand kind of just flies in your eyes and you're back and you're seeing the cabinet. You're like, this is like, you just feel like you've time traveled.
Can I see anything of that Charles character?
Yeah, you actually spot him. He's kind of hobnobbing with the guys. You know, he's in his element. You know, he's like talking to everybody and, oh, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, and somebody sees and he's over and he's talking. So he's bustling about and he's loving it. You know.
I'm going to make a beeline for him.
Okay.
And
I want you to do something for me, Raj. I want you to face danger for me, because of what's happening and your experience there's a danger that you will spontaneously bend time and reality or have some kind of strange experience. All right.
Okay.
So if you've got something, even a weakness, if you or a positive, if you want to tag something to.
Well, I think the obvious weakness is no conscious control, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's probably going to encourage it to happen. So,
Yeah.
Is there any things you want to try and resist this spontaneous supernatural occurrence?
I think I could use a sense of purpose.
That's a good one.
And I wanted to use compelling personality as well to just attempt to capitalize on Charles's time for a moment.
Yeah, well, we'll say that this is happening as you're approaching Charles. You feel like, you know how I said the last time when you looked at the brochure, you had a moment where you felt like you were going to be on top of the rooftop on the taxi with Charles in the taxi. So you feel like you're on the verge of some spontaneous, godlike, supernatural event that might be kind of awkward in the situation. So we'll say you're not at Charles at the moment, right? You're approaching him. Anything else that you could use to hold back something really strange happening? Unless you want it to happen, of course. If not, you've got a plus and a minus, so it's a dice roll.
Well, I don't think I've got anything else I can use. Unless there's anything on there. No. No, I think that's about it for me.
Okay, go for it. Do a dice roll for me and face danger.
Okay. 6 and 2.
Okay.
So 8.
Okay. You went towards these statues and the mask and you've come away and you're now heading towards Charles. What bizarre event. Now, what are your powers again? I'm trying to remember.
Reality warping, augury, gift of memory, synchronicity, just in time, teleport, and tear space and time.
Holy crap. Okay. So
I'm thinking that there is an obvious barrier between me and those objects, and that's the cabinet.
uh-huh.
So I would be thinking, potentially, my first thought is that the cabinet is just going to go away or just dissolve or turn into smoke or something.
Okay. How about
Unless I end up on the roof with the contents of the cabinet.
I'm going to suggest one that's a little bit different, see what you think. My suggestion is, as you're approaching Charles, there is a shattering of glass, right? So it doesn't magically disappear. But what's happened is you hear gasps round about you. You hear a kind of bit of a scream from some posh lady in her best outfit, you know, who's a bit closer to the cabinets. Fortunately, nobody was right there at it at that point. And as you turn around, you see two of the statues moving towards you as if they're following you, and they travel. They travel about 4 or 5 foot across the floor, because the cabinet was like almost just flush with the floor, and they've travelled about 4 foot, and there's gasps and all the rest of it, and a bit of a commotion. And then at that point, Charles looks right at you, and he's trying to look beyond you to see what's happening, and then he realizes he's looking right at you, and he's like, "Hey," you know.
I'm just going to nonchalantly just wave. Sort of nothing to do with me kind of way.
And
how you doing? I'm just a cab driver.
And what we'll do is we're gonna end the scene with this, okay, and end the episode with this. So literally, those statues have followed you a few yards, right? Like 2 dogs. It just so happens, you know, but like 2 pets. They've followed you across, but immediately you begin to hear people say, "Oh, they just fell out. They fell out the glass." Even though you know it's a ridiculous amount of distance. You know, if they fell out the glass, they would be on their face, you know. But immediately, all of the people round about, oh, there's been an accident. And it's like, after a kind of 5-second shocked, what on earth has happened? It's like suddenly people are just explaining it all away. That these statues are now about, what did I say, 4 or 5 feet beyond where they were. And the security's coming, and they're now moving it and making sure, and they're putting on their gloves because they're now touching they've got their white gloves on because it's now a piece of antiquity, you know, and they're moving it off and they're clearing it away, and they kind of cordon it off. And you realise that within 2 minutes, people are completely unaware of the bizarre event that's happened. And with that, the credits roll. Until next time, friends. That's it, dear Bliss. Thanks for joining us, anybody that's watching the video. We'll see you next time. Okay.